Hi there, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm talking about Donald Trump and his past statements on single payer health care. The fact that for about 17 years, Donald Trump was for health care for everyone, and that he was incredulous that not one of the major parties had actually pushed for that to happen. He saw it as a failing of both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, that they couldn't take care of their people, all of us, like other nations could. And so, now we're hearing a different story, and the unfortunate fact that so called policy wonk, Paul Ryan, has come up with a horrific, very detrimental health insurance plan that's just worse than anything we've seen ever, I think. And he has moved to attach Donald Trump's name to his own horrific plan. Instead of it being called Ryan Care, it's being called Trump Care. And unfortunately, Donald Trump has allowed this to happen for his name to be attached to inferior policy. And I've asked this question before. I said, people keep calling Paul Ryan like a policy wonk or so-called expert. I don't know. It's like, okay. And I question it because if every single policy you come up with is just more horrific than the previous, are you actually a policy wonk? Or if the insurance companies and Wall Street corporations write your policy for you, are you a policy wonk? And I asked the same question about Hillary Clinton. People keep calling her a policy wonk, and I'm like, every one of her policies absolutely blows. Everything that she ever came up with was more horrific than the last, and she had to either backpedal or disavow or apologize or ask for, or try to blame someone else for it. And so now again, we see Paul Ryan calling that unfortunate AHCA, Affordable Health Care Act, Trump Care. And I think Donald Trump should push back on that. I really do. If I could give him any advice at all, if he's taking advice, I would say, you know what, maybe stick with your original plan, health care for all. But anyway, let's go through it so I can remind Donald Trump what he once said and maybe everyone else who can't believe it. This is an article at PolitiFact. Is Donald Trump still for single payer health care? And so this is what Donald Trump said in January of 2017. We're going to have insurance for everybody. And this is what he told the Washington Post. There was a philosophy in some circles that if you can't pay for it, you don't get it. That's not going to happen with us. And so, looking at the AHCA, what does Donald Trump say now? Okay, and so, again, there's also an article at Forbes magazine. Trump Obamacare replacement will provide insurance for everybody, and insurance is not the same as health care. But this is what he says. We're going to have insurance for everybody. There is a philosophy in some circles that if you can't pay for it, you don't get it. That's not going to happen with us. Americans can expect to have great health care. It will be in a much simplified form, much less expensive, and much better. And so again, is that the AHCA? And what does Donald Trump say now? Okay, and so in January 2015, Donald Trump was visiting with David Letterman, and they were shooting the breeze early in his campaign. And Donald Trump says to David Letterman, a friend of mine was in Scotland recently. He got very sick, very, very sick. They took him by ambulance, and he was there for 4 days. He was really in trouble, and they released him, and he said, where do I pay? And they said there's no charge. Not only that, he said it was like great doctors, great care. I mean, we could have a great system in this country. Okay, and so that was January 2015. What does he say in February of 2000, 16 years ago? I would put forth a comprehensive health care program and fund it with an increase in corporate taxes. This is what Donald Trump told the Advocate, and that was before he dropped out of the race in February 2000. Also in 2000, Donald Trump had a book, The America We Deserve, that he wrote. And he says in his book, he wrote it and put it in black and white. The Canadian plan also helps Canadians live longer and healthier than America. We need, as a nation, to re examine the single payer plan, as many individual states are doing. And so, even, years ago, 17 years ago, Donald Trump was very much aware of the need for health care for all and the effect on life expectancy and the fact that America could do better for its citizens. This is in 1999, and he was talking to Larry King, October 1999. Donald Trump says, if you can't take care of your sick in the country, forget it. It's all over. I believe in universal health care. And so this is what Trump has said that he believes in, and he believed in it from October of 1999 all the way up until January of 2015. And then, with this recent run through the race and his election, he's distanced himself from those statements, and he's allowed his policy to be written for him by, of all people, Paul Ryan. So anyway, let's go on. There's been a clarification since then, since he's said over and over he's for universal health care, he's for single payer health care, he's for health care for everyone, not health insurance. He said health care for everyone. But then, since in the meantime, he's spoken and said that, a spokesperson for Donald Trump has indicated that he's not for socialized medicine, but for a universal market-based plan that would offer a range of choices. And so that system that Donald Trump is talking about, it's universal, it's market-based with a mix of public and private funding. That's basically the Affordable Care Act. And so we see just this full range. But for, at least 17 to 18 years, Donald Trump was definitely for single payer. It's not too late. Re-examine the John Conyers bill. I'll put a link in the description, and hopefully Donald Trump, when he's wandering around YouTube, he might take a look and say, you know what? I was right the first time. Good luck.